Hi everyone, this is Athena from Courage Coaching. Thank you so much for stopping by today. If you are new to my channel, then please feel free to click on the subscribe button in order to receive notifications for any new videos that I upload. Now, in this video, I wanted to talk about how a toxic parent views their children. I am going to draw a little bit from my own personal experience, but also from all of the times that my clients have told me that their parents don't really view them for the person that they truly are. Now, what happens is that a toxic parent is usually very emotionally immature. And if they have narcissistic personality disorder, well, it makes the relationship with their children even more complicated. Now, when you grow up in a household where one or both of your parents are toxic or narcissistic, they only see you in the role that they have put you in, not as the individual or the beautiful spirit that you really are. A narcissistic parent does not see you for the person that you truly are, but they view you as an extension of themselves. A narcissistic or toxic parent, unfortunately, is committed to not truly knowing their children. Because if they were to actually see what a great person their child really is, they would then have to face the truth of how awful they are to their children, how badly they treat their children. It is easier for a toxic or a narcissistic parent to act like there is something wrong with their child, because this then justifies their awful behavior towards their child. And in essence, it helps them avoid any accountability. So whenever they treat you badly, they justify this in their head by saying that there's something wrong with you, by saying you're not smart enough, that you're not thoughtful enough, by telling themselves that you are too selfish, mainly because, in many ways you're not doing what they want, mainly because you are not gratifying their needs. But the problem is, when they constantly place the blame on their children, they are constantly avoiding accountability. But the reality of the situation is that even when you're a child, you will look at your parent as some sort of god. Anything your parent says is very important to you. The problem with a narcissistic parent putting you in a certain box and calling you a certain name and describing you as a difficult child, this is something that you will think that you truly are. You will carry your parents' version of you in your head, and you will think that this is the person that you truly are. But it isn't, because your narcissistic parents' thinking is flawed. They have a very distorted perception of you. And this distorted perception of you, unfortunately, is something that you believe about yourself. And you carry this into adulthood, and you live life according to what your narcissistic parent said to you. But it's important that you reject your parents' narrative of who you are, because you are not who they say you are. You are actually completely the opposite, or completely different to what they've said. It is important when you start your healing journey to rediscover who you truly are, what things make you happy, and what needs you truly have. Nothing that your narcissistic parents said about you is the true version of who you are. Unfortunately, when the narcissistic parent has constantly told you for the first 18 years of your life that you're a loser, that you're stupid, that you're selfish, this becomes your inner critic. This becomes this inner critical voice that you carry around with you every day. And every time you try and take a step forward, or every time you try and do something that will increase your confidence, you hear this inner critical voice of your parent telling you, you're not smart enough, you're not good enough, you're going to fail, you can't do it. Stop thinking of yourself, you're too selfish. All of the things that were drilled into your head as a child will keep resurfacing. And it's very, very hard to resist these inner critical voices. And they are very persistent, very, very forceful. So in order to change this, you have to keep fighting against them. You have to keep saying, no, I will not listen to this inner critic. In order to change the way that your parents spoke to you for those first 18 years of your life, you will have to constantly fight against this and do this at the very least 66 times. Because, there is science that backs this up, that says that in order to change something about yourself that you don't like, you have to keep practicing the opposite of that at least for 66 times in order to create new neural pathways in your brain. In order for something to stick and become a habit, you have to keep doing it. So it's easier said than done, because sometimes when you try to fight against your inner critic, you will feel this resistance. You will not find it comfortable. And in a way, your inner critic has become your best friend. Even though he's a nasty inner critic, you have had this inner critic your whole life. So there will be a lot of resistance. It will be hard to say something positive to yourself. But you just have to keep practicing, you just have to keep noticing and replace those negative voices with more positive, constructive ones, with ones that uplift you and help you feel more confident. Keep telling yourself that you can do something, even if your inner critic says no. You have to keep pushing against it. When you have this inner critic, it's always a reminder of what your parents used to say to you. But your parents never truly allowed themselves to really get to know you. If you think about it, they may have spent your whole childhood constantly criticizing you, constantly blaming you. They weren't actually meeting your needs. Everything that you did was too sensitive, too selfish. Did your parents actually even know that you're a good person? Did your parents actually even know that you're highly empathetic? I bet you that most of your parents that are toxic in one way or another, they missed out on the true nature of who you truly are, because they were so caught up in their own trauma and in their own toxic upbringing, they weren't able to see the reality of who you really were. Your true nature and identity were smeared constantly by your parents when you were a child. They were so sadistic in the way that they made you feel horrible about yourself. They constantly gaslit all these critical statements into your neural pathways. And this is so ingrained. So it will take a lot of effort to change this. Remember though that it is possible to change your neural pathways. Luckily, our brains are very plastic and they can still change. Even when you're over 30 or over 40, you can still change by putting in the work, by trying, by giving yourself the space and the time, by being self-compassionate, by learning how to live life differently, by learning to give yourself what you need and what makes you happy, and by supporting yourself like a good parent should. Because you didn't have a good parent. You had an emotionally immature parent. You had a parent who wasn't able to meet your needs, who wasn't able to truly see you for who you were. They missed out on the true person that you are, and that is a real shame. But you can continue to celebrate yourself. You can see yourself through your friends' eyes, because I'm sure you have a couple of friends that love you and accept you for who you are, that appreciate you for who you are, that are healthy friends, that aren't dysfunctional like your family. Especially if you have been healing for a while, this will be the case. You are worthy of love and attention. You are worthy of achieving anything your heart desires, because you were born worthy. You were born lovable. Don't doubt yourself and don't listen to your parents' voice. That is the end of the video, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to share your experience with this, then please do so in the comments below. And if you need one-to-one coaching, then I do have some availability. I also work weekends for those of you that may be in the US or in Asia or in different part of the world to me. So please don't hesitate to get in touch. Thank you so much for watching and for listening today, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Take care.